In this video, we're going to be talking pros and cons of living in Chandler, so stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We are helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move or relocating and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix metro. All right, so as part of the process of creating these videos for you guys, we are constantly looking online to put ourselves in your shoes and figure out what information you're seeing when doing your research to move here. And for as many of the blogs that we find regarding the pros and cons of moving to Metro Phoenix or moving to Scottsdale, there are very few that we find that are specifically related to Chandler. So since the information is pretty limited out there, but we know there are a lot of people who are interested, we're going to do our best to fill in a few of the details for you and hopefully give you enough insight to see if Chandler is a good match. So let's get into it and we'll see if the pros outweigh the cons for you. All right, pro number one, I'm going to go with the national rankings. For as long as I can remember, Chandler has always been ranked pretty high when it comes to reasons to move here. And obviously there are several websites online that provide different rankings, so it's obviously a little bit subjective, but I think for the most part it stayed pretty consistent. And probably one of the biggest reasons that Chandler has continuously stayed on the national radar for as long as it has is its ability to draw in some of the bigger name companies, starting with Intel back in 1980, and it's just kind of grown from there. But let's just take a look at a few examples of their top rankings just over the past couple years. Number one best place to become wealthy. Third best city to buy a family home. Sixth best city to find a job. Sixth best city for renters. Eighth best city for women in tech. Ninth safest city in America. 12th best city for first-time homebuyers. And 14th most livable city in the US. And I'm sure that's just a small sample size. So as I'm sure you already know, these are some of the main categories that people look at when it comes to finding the best places to live, and Chandler seems to rank pretty high in all of them. So it's no surprise the city continues to grow and really be one of the most popular areas to live in the Phoenix area. All right, on to pro number two on my list, which is location. So if we bring up the map of the entire valley and then highlight Chandler, you will see that you're actually in a pretty good location for multiple reasons. But one that I find especially helpful is for people who have to commute into places like Phoenix or Scottsdale, or also for people who need to travel in and out of Sky Harbor. And no matter what part of Chandler you're in, you're typically just a short drive away from any of the major freeways that surround it, which will quickly get you anywhere you need to go. All right, so let's get into pro number three, which is lifestyle affordability. So over the past 20 years, we've obviously experienced some crazy times, both up and down, when it comes to our real estate market and brand new neighborhoods all over the valley to draw people in. But if you put all that aside, during that time, Chandler has always led the way when it comes to finding kind of a secondary and more affordable home buying option. And these are communities that resemble some of the more expensive neighborhoods that you would typically find in places like Scottsdale. On top of that, you had a significant number of newer master plan communities open up that were hoping to add an even extra layer of luxury and lifestyle, which is why you see so many lakefront subdivisions down there and waterfront homes, probably more than anywhere else in the entire valley. But for the most part, for a similar style home and neighborhood, what you might pay, in the $750 to $800K range in Scottsdale, you're typically going to find in the $450 to $500K range down in Chandler. And I think those comparisons are still pretty accurate today, depending on a few factors. So because of that, I think Chandler has done a really good job of attracting people who are looking for the similar quality of lifestyle that Scottsdale has to offer, while allowing them to maybe be a little bit more price conscious and budget friendly, and maybe getting away from some of the stigma that a lot of people tend to associate with Scottsdale. Okay, next up is pro number four, which is the schools. Okay, for those of you out there who currently have kids, or for even those of you who are considering kids, I think one of the most important questions that gets asked when it comes to people who are looking to relocate is, how are the schools? And based on the overwhelmingly majority of feedback we get, I think that most people will tend to say that the schools in Chandler are great. Now, Chandler is a decent sized city, so there are plenty of schools to look at and compare to. And it's also possible for you to live in Chandler but be located in either the Mesa or Gilbert School District. But whether you are inside or outside of the Chandler Unified School District boundaries, I think that you will find that most schools tend to rate pretty highly throughout the entire area. And don't just take that from me. I think you will find that if you ask around, join some of the Chandler associated Facebook groups that are out there, any of the websites where you can talk to parents directly and kind of hear some of the feedback, I think you will find there is plenty of positive feedback to go around and a lot of happy parents out there. All right, up next is pro number 5, which is the shopping and dining scene. All right, so this is another subject that gets brought up pretty often, and obviously I think it's because people like to have quality options close to home when they're looking to relocate somewhere. And like what they've done with their neighborhoods when it comes to creating a similar lifestyle to some of the more exclusive areas that we have around Phoenix, they have done the same thing with their retail developments and also their dining and nightlife establishments. The downtown scene definitely has some great options, and so does the area all around Chandler Fashion Center. But I feel like there are little local hotspots all over town that you'll run into or hear about once you get settled in. And there really is something for everybody, no matter what your budget is or what type of atmosphere you're looking for. So if having a lot of good options close to home is important to you, then I think Chandler could definitely be a good match. Okay, so now that we've heard a few of the pros, let's talk about some of the cons. And honestly, I kind of had a tough time coming up with a few. So I just decided to reach out to a few friends and a few of the Chandler area Facebook groups to see if they could fill me in on some of the negatives and also potentially some things that they wish they would have known before moving there. And again, for the most part, the general feedback was all about how much people love it. But I was able to get a few cons that I thought were worth mentioning, so let's discuss those. So con number 1, which is most neighborhoods have HOAs. Yeah, this is definitely a popular complaint, not only in Chandler, but in a lot of the newer subdivisions all throughout the valley. People generally don't like paying the costs associated with HOAs, and they also don't like the nitpicking that can potentially occur. I have heard my share of horror stories, and it never sounds fun. Now, are all HOAs bad, and is it a complete waste? Not necessarily. I actually think there are a ton of positives with HOAs if they're handled in the right way. But nonetheless, a lot of people have been burned and would rather avoid them. And when it comes to Chandler, I think probably 75 to 80% of the communities will probably have them. So it's something you need to consider if it's important to you. All right, so let's talk con number 2, which is that it has become overcrowded. So this is another common comment when it comes to complaints. But again, to be fair, with the amount of people that are moving to Arizona on a daily basis, I doubt this is really just a Chandler problem. And I guess it just depends on where you're coming from if you think it actually might be an issue for you. But probably for anyone who's lived there for 10 plus years, I'm sure like everywhere else, there is a noticeable difference. Now, I did have a good friend of mine mention that at this point, the public schools have gotten a little bit too overcrowded for his liking, but on the positive side, he did say that there are plenty of charter school options or other opportunities out there in case that becomes a concern to you. All right, so con number 3, which is longer commute times. So this one kind of piggybacks on top of our last con, considering we already know that the population in Phoenix continues to grow and grow each day. So because of that, traffic is generally increasing, and if you're traveling from Chandler to Phoenix or Scottsdale or anywhere in that general direction in the peak times of day, then your commute times are probably going to be a little bit longer than you were hoping for. But there's a trade-off for everything, and if you want to be closer to work but maybe still have the same nice house and the same lifestyle you have, then you might have to pay a lot more for it. But I think people find that Chandler gives you a pretty good balance when it comes to lifestyle and affordability. So the extra commute time may not be that bad in comparison to some other options. All right, so hopefully our breakdown of the Chandler pros and cons was helpful to you. From my point of view, I think Chandler is definitely a good city to take a look at if you're thinking about moving here. But if there's anything you thought we missed, or you happen to agree or disagree with any of the comments we made, feel free to comment down below and let us know what you're thinking. We'd love to hear it. And if you like this video, but you want to hear about other cities around the Phoenix Metro and their pros and cons, make sure to comment on that down below and let us know what areas you're interested in. We are doing a ton of videos to spotlight all the areas around Metro Phoenix. So if you think these videos might be helpful for you or anyone you know who might be looking to move here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. And as always, we are working with so many people from all over when it comes to finding the best place to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix Metro. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.